All right, what do we got today? Big game.
Well, first off, Rick, it is so great to see you back. I know you had that on the road trip, but welcome back.
Thank you
It's
very
great
much.
to
Good
see
to
you.
be back.
I guess just start with the business. I saw you having a quick little chat with Gabriel there. We were kind of wondering if he might get back in tonight.
won't play tonight.
Yeah, explain the thought process on that.
Well, he's not ready. Simple as that. He skated with a new brace today, so we'll give him today and tomorrow. And we're really hopeful. Everyone's hopeful for Thursday, but we'll decide that. He'll be one of those game time decisions that we love to talk about.
When you say not ready, is it more comfortability with
Yes.
the brace, or okay?
Yeah, give him another full practice with the team tomorrow. We haven't practiced much in the last week because of the travel and the games. So he's done it. You know, you get a couple of guys out there and you do some bang on one-on-one drills, and it's not the same as a full-on practice. So we'll be able to do that with him tomorrow.
2.5 weeks ago when when Dallas came in here and won the game, it seemed like your team was genuinely angry after that game. Do you want that to kind of spill over into tonight, or is there anything to be derived from that?
Well, yeah. Again, not being here, I don't. Yeah. Listen, they're a great hockey club, and we all know where we are. We want to be in that elite category. Then you beat the elite teams. It comes down to that, and so we had a good road trip in terms of we got 4 out of 6. We're not happy with how we played and how we lost that point, at least 1 point in Nashville. But more importantly, now it's just, again, you want to stay in that top elite, then you got to earn your right, man. You got to earn the right to stay there, and to stay there, you've got to beat the top teams, and Dallas is certainly a top team.
It seems very much, like Dallas has become a barometer in a way. What is it about how they test your patience and your belief in doing the right thing every single shift?
Well, they've got a lot of skill, and they've got 3 well-balanced lines there. I was looking at their lineup. I think there's 10 or 11 guys skating there that weren't there 2 years ago, right? So they've changed that team around a lot, and they've all good moves. I mean, Jimmy's done a wonderful job there. Pete's done a wonderful job, he and his staff, but they can hurt you in a lot of ways, and they can be physical with their defense. Some of the guys they got back there, and you got Jamie Benn up there leading the team, and we got one of the best lines in hockey with Rupe's lines. So they're very well balanced, and they can beat you in different ways. And I think when we played them the last time, when I was watching it on TV, I kind of felt like we beat ourselves with some turnovers and not making simple little plays. Like one of the goals, we get the shorthanded goal. We got the puck at the blue line, and we don't do anything with it, and they go and score. Like, that's beating yourself. So so they're probably angry that we beat ourselves.
Once upon a time, in seasons that weren't as good as this one, Winnipeg could get on fire for a little while, and then when a real veteran team like Dallas counterattacked and waited and picked its spots and things like that, that's when things would change. It seems like this is a better version of the Winnipeg Jets in so many ways, but is that maybe a little test that you guys will face against the team?
Anytime you play the best teams, you got to grow from it. You got to learn from it. You got to learn how to beat them. So we lost to them last time, and we walked away feeling we beat ourselves. So we've got to take that next step with teams like that and figure out how to beat them. And last year we beat them twice. We beat them here. We beat them in overtime in Dallas. So excellent team last year. We're a good team. And we just got to figure out to play at an elite level on a more consistent basis. And that's what we are doing game to game.
You had a pretty good first half last year, too. What's the biggest difference between this team and that team?
Our depth, for sure, our balance. I think the room is in a much better place than it was last year. Like those moves we made go back to 22 training camp, we made moves and we opened up the room, and it's starting to show itself why we did that. I think the room's tighter. I think the culture here is outstanding, and because of the players. It starts with that off the ice. That's where it all starts. You got to have that chemistry. You got to have that culture off the ice. So this team is a tighter team off the ice, and it's showing itself on the ice. Now, you're talking about what could happen. It's our job as coaches, now that we know this team better, we know what we look like when we're playing well. That's our job as coaches, to stay on them, stay on the individual, stay on the lines, the deep pairings, stay on them, and on both their details and their preparation for the game.
Was saying too that maybe the roles are more defined, and maybe even there's more selflessness.
And more, sorry, what?
Selfless. They're more selfless.
Yeah, this team, they don't care who scores, and they recognize when guys are blocking shots, and it's all respected in that locker room. And so, guys might not score, but if they save a goal, that's just as important as scoring a goal. And the guys are recognizing that. They've learned to recognize all the hard work and things that it has to be done by guys who don't score a lot, but they're doing a lot to keep the puck out of the net, and that's just as important as the guys that score the goals. So the roles are different, but the status has to be the same.
Sounds like they're growing up.
I hope so.
Rick, that last trend that you just described about guys taking pride in preventing goals, how much of an improvement have you seen, especially in the high danger areas in your own zone, with the ultimate goal of making life easier on Connor Hellebuck?
Yeah, we started that last training camp, our first year here. We cut down drastically on that last year, but we weren't number one in the league in that. So I know we were in the top 10 and cutting down grade A chances. We want to keep pushing until we are the best in the league. So there's so many, the game is so much faster today and better coached and better balanced throughout the league. Like, it's harder and harder to do those things. So you've got to stay on top of the details every day. You got to keep challenging your team. You got to keep pushing your team. But sometimes you could be doing everything right and they're still going to make plays because of the talent and the speed of the game today. But that's something as coaches that we put in place our first training camp, and it's something that we are going to keep pushing.
No, well, certainly, like you said, your defensive structure had improved last season, but just looking at Connor's numbers this year, he's not having to make as many of those goals saved above expected. In that regard, do you look at that as
Progress.
improved team play in your own zone?
Yep. It takes a while. You just don't throw something in and they pick it up. You've got to break down bad habits. I still see some things that they're going back to that man-on-man because it's just natural instincts take over. It takes a while to break habits. And the guys have been working on it. We've been working on it. But again, it's something that we keep pushing.
Rick, just to echo Kelly, welcome back. Great to have you back. Coaching fraternity is a tight-knit one. There's only 32 of you, obviously, at this level. So when a coach like Dean, I know you guys had some very spirited battles at the Wild, but
I sent him a text last night.
I was going to just ask,
And Bob.
Pardon me?
I'm the older guy in the league. I got to do these things, man.
And obviously Jay in Edmonton recently,
Send him a
too. So it
text.
just shows, I guess, how delicate or fragile this position
We're
can
we're the only ones that we know what we go through. Like, you guys your job is to report what you see, but you don't have all the information that we have. We know who's playing hurt, you don't. We know who's having issues off the ice, you don't. So you can only report on what you see. So the only guys who really know what's going on are the coaches. So that's why it is a tight fraternity, and we know eventually we all take the blame, right? So that's all. Hey, you sign up for it, man. If you can't take the heat, don't get into it. But one thing I've done the last few years, anytime there's been a coach fired, I reach out to him right away and wish them best and hope that you see them back behind a bench really quick, real quick.
Excellent. And just one sort of housekeeping. How close is Villy to maybe resuming skating? I know we had a 2 to 3 month window, and I think we're coming up on the 2-month point here. Is he going to be on the ice at some point here soon?
I just saw him today for the first time in a while, and it's still bandaged up. So I don't have an answer to that.
Thanks.
Good. Thanks.